Alright, so if you saw the last video for part one of this trip down memory lane, you know that we left off with the Malibu as we was looking at it down there in the field. That was where its final resting place has been so far. So we're going to pick up with the Malibu here for part two. I want to encourage you, if you hadn't already, to subscribe to our channel. Make sure you subscribe to it and head back over and check out part one of this series so you'll know what we're doing here. And we're going to get down here and talk about the shop that we used to work in and the cars as they transformed from my dad over to myself. So right here we have the Malibu. Once it has been painted red, or well, I guess you would call this more of a dark maroon color. You saw the Malibu sitting there in the field, and you see the pictures of where it was silver when my dad was racing it. Well, this car sat out in the backyard for probably 10 years before we decided to race it. We took it down to the shop and pretty much changed the oil in the motor. Put some new antifreeze in the radiator. We bled the brakes. I want to say I had to replace a couple of calipers on the brake system, and I sanded all the silver down, got all the rust off of it, and just found some paint that my dad and Charlie and them had laying around in the garage down there, and we 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 sprayed it on, and that's the color it turned out. And what's funny is the numbers, they was all hand painted. Whenever I was sanding and painting, we just took some masking tape and some cardboard and recovered the numbers to where I wouldn't have to repaint the numbers. I just left them. That's the way those numbers were when he was racing it, and that's the way they was when I was racing it. So then I found some stencils there, as you can see on the quarter panel, and just put a simple sponsor needed on the quarter panel. And that Berry Racing, that's a vinyl sticker. I taped around all of it and painted around it and all that. So that's where it started for me as far as racing. That's what it looked like the very first time I pulled out on the track. This picture right here, this was the very first night I went to the racetrack as a driver. And this picture here is the very first time I was ever on a track. I believe we was pretty much running as lap traffic that night. Hey, I was just excited to be out there. I'd looked forward to that for 14 years. So we got out there, and I felt the vibration, and under a caution, pulled off the track into the pits, and my dad looked up on the car and told me to shut it off. What had happened was we burnt the rear gears up out of it, and looking back on it, it was probably just the fact that it had sat out in the yard for 10 years, hot, cold, probably had some water and moisture inside of it, and we just didn't check it before we went racing. So that ended our night with some burn up gears. So you lived and learned, and funny story, we ordered a brand new set of gears after that and went up to a different gear ratio, and where I bought them from, they told me to run a certain brand of rear end dope, and when I ran the rear end dope, they told me to only use like 2 quarts of oil. Looking back on it, it was pretty stupid. So I believe the very next time we went to the racetrack, we burned up a brand new set of gears. So I learned my lesson real quick with rear end dope, to always make sure you have some in there, or enough, I should say. So this right here is actually a video that I'd forgot I had, and we found. This is where we're testing the car at what my dad and my uncles used to call BIR, Berry International Raceway. And the potato field, this used to be a potato field back when he was racing, and this is actually where the shop is built now.
Our house. And here is where the magic started.
Can you see in the dark back there?
Yeah. I got x-ray vision.
This is where it all started, right?
It's where the magic happened. No, we don't. You ain't got to. Electric fence is over there.
See right here. Get a look at the landscape right here. You can see it setting downhill in a hole.
Yeah.
That comes to a big problem when it rains. Water would always go underneath that wall right there, and you'd have to go in there and you'd be working in water 2 or 3 inches deep.
Yeah. You can see it's not very big.
Oh, but it's fun.
You can probably reach across and touch one end, but no, you really can't. It's too far. And Chris's brother's actually been working in here, so we really don't know what it even looks like. Did he knock himself out? Oh, there's the lights.
All right, Maggie, duck.
Like I said, we don't know what shape it's in. We hadn't been down here in a while. Oh.
Hey, there's my picture still hanging on the wall.
Oh.
No,
Gonna get that door back now.
no. Matter of fact, you know whose picture them more?
Whose?
Them Charlie's.
Which is Chris's oldest brother that died in 2013.
Look at here. Them right there have been on the wall since the 1970s. Them SS hubcaps.
That was our air conditioner right there.
Yeah. Ours
But you had to push start it. You plugged it up.
See what he's pointing at? He's pointing at that right there.
That squirrel fan.
2 foot first squirrel fan. Hey, there's my bicycle.
Oh God, we messed up.
What you gonna do with that rusted out thing? How you gonna get it?
You see my bicycle?
Yeah.
I give $8 for it.
Where'd you give $8 for that?
I will and dealing. What is that buzzing? Who knows what this is?
Hold on. Yeah, it takes it a second to get around there.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
Hank. Me and you know, because I told you Brad had it wrote down somewhere. There it is. Oh. Anybody need some engine parts? Maybe a little rusty. Oh gosh, what is that? Oh gosh.
That didn't work.
Some rods. What's that, crank?
Hey, look at you.
Pistons.
There's my factory stock pistons.
That's one of the pistons
That 406.
that's gonna be in this story that we're gonna talk about with the Nova when we can see it. Yeah. That's one of them pistons.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one that did. Oh, here's one. There's what's left of one.
That's gonna go in it.
No, this is another story.
Yes, Chris. Hold on. Chris is trying to get my attention. You're trying to get my attention.
That's one out of the motor in the trailer that was in the Malibu.
Oh. That looks like it's very useful still.
Yeah.
What, Chris? What are you trying to show me?
Get a load of that.
Oh, God. That looks like a fire hazard waiting to happen. Don't think about that up there.
Well, we got a good fire extinguisher right here.
Well, by God, it's a good thing.
It's just got dirt number nest all built up in it.
What is all here? Oh, we even got a fridge.
Yeah, look at it.
Oh, God, no, I ain't looking in that. A snake might jump out at me.
Charlie's even got his shirt still hanging there.
Too cold for sleep.
Whose is that?
What?
That.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
There's all the books.
See? Told you there wasn't no snow there. There's probably some good cold out Mountain Dews in there.
I got one on the golf cart.
Right there's 4-5 Mountain Dews.
Chris Berry, what in the piss is over
What
there?
is in there? I don't even remember.
Parts.
Yep, what that is.
I know. You know what that is, Dallas?
I ain't got the slightest clue what that is.
Well, look, Dallas.
It's called a lowering block.
What's a lowering block?
You see the difference?
Well, what do you think it does?
Hey, if you ever build a demolition derby car and you need a motor, right here's the gaskets you use. He ain't kidding. I will put them in there in a minute.
There's a brake pedal out of that car that we gave $60 for.
That one?
Right there.
Yep.
There's just all kinds of goodies in here. What's that
There's
car?
my boat bin. See, I love boats. I just had boat bins everywhere.
Probably half of them are rusted out when you put them in there
Oh
too.
yeah, they were.
What about this? What's
What?
this?
No, I don't know about that.
That ain't y'all's.
Ain't changed much, is it?
Is you poop?
Still hot as crap down here. Hot and dark.
And like he said, or like we said a while
There
ago,
used to be.
these two cars are not ours. Brad's, or not Brad, Christopher here, his brother, has been working on this car down here.
Tubes down here no more.
It's probably under all this junk over
You
here.
got two brothers in here now. I think Danny's the one that's working in it. The other brother's storing his grandson's vet.
Oh,
Cause the T-windows leak.
oh. So, two brothers that are in here now. What about this gym right here?
That's our air compressor we used back in the 70s.
Still used it until you moved, huh?
Just imagine.
Probably still works.
Imagine
Yeah.
at the 55s and the 56s it was in this shop.
I wish y'all could have seen it previously, before anything was in here. What is that up there?
Where?
That fan thing.
That's another exhaust fan. That's our exhaust fan that got the heat out of the top.
Oh.
That one blowed in, that one,
Looks like
that's inlet and that's outlet.
looks like you have more ventilation in this shop than you do our nice shop. But y'all can see what a gym this place is. You gotta start somewhere.
This is where it started.
That's where it all started. And I promise you, when they were down here, it was probably junkier than this. Because Chris holds on to everything.
Wait a minute. From right here over wasn't here. From right here over was where we worked in the city. Right here. This was just put add-on.
Right
here.
there. Right where he's...
This was an add-on.
All that over there.
You see the difference in the height of the floor?
And this was the add-on. So this is a lot added on here.
You had to take that into consideration when you was building cars. Because if we didn't have a jig,
Yeah.
built them on jack stands and had to shim the
Where's
jack
her
stands
bow?
up.
Okay.
That Rayburn clip ain't out there anymore.
I think Wayne got it down there somewhere.
There's some springs up there.
It's Camaros. I
Oh.
guarantee you. That's one of the Camaros I burnt to make a race car. It was a nice Camaro. I thought I'd save the spring.
Wow.
Maggie!
That was not Maggie.
Well, we need to see if we get that door shut.
Alright, let's get out of here. Well, let me turn this camera on. Alright, so we showed you guys the bolt bin over there. This was the original bolt bin. Here, I'm scared to get too close because there's all kinds of junk over here. It's got birds' nests and everything in here now.
Why don't you look at this?
What's this?
Probably some of my race parts right there. Well, that's where I work on 88 Grand Dam.
I'm still working on that Grand Dam.
Where's that road?
Would you leave the camera on? Hey!
Pinion tip. That's where we got a set of gears in it. There's K&S Auto Parts, being bumper to bumper.
Look at the price on all that stuff.
Oh yeah, $4 or $5.
Alright, now we're really going this time.
Hey guys, here we are. This is going to be day 2 of our trip around the property here. Day 1, you saw where we made a quick trip around, just looking at the Malibu and showing you a quick tour of the shop down below where we used to work. But we're going. It looks like my dad's down there washing his truck right now. So right now, while we're right here by it, we're gonna show you that motor that we was talking about the other night. I just got to get my key out for the trailer here. All right.
Be careful.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see that we're inside this house trailer here. There's old heads laying over there. Like you said, like Dal said in one of the videos, my dad's slowly been tearing it down. So the floor is not very sturdy. So I'm gonna kind of
you guys are gonna kind of watch me try to do a balancing act here and walk on the where the studs would be. Oh shoot, that didn't sound good. Seams. Oh, I just fell through. Heard a hole from my foot. Alright, so you guys have heard me talk about the very first motor that I ever built. I used my lunch money and saved up $5 every day when I'd go to school, and then we talked about it the other night in the video how my dad said this motor would be 7 cylinders. Right there's what makes this motor 7 cylinders. Oh. This is the first motor that I ever built. It's just a standard 350. It was a 010 block, factory crankshaft, dome pistons, or I'm sorry, flat top pistons. But anyways, that was the first motor that I ever built for when I was racing. We got that motor built for the Malibu. Whenever one of the tracks around here opened the rules up to where we could run his Malibu, I pulled it out of the weeds, stuck it together. We finished that motor up, which we was already building that motor. At the time, we'd already had that left-hander chassis, so we were trying to get the left-hander chassis built, and when they opened the class up to where you could run more of a stock type car, that's when we decided to get the Malibu out of the weeds and get it running. That motor there, you know, I ran that motor for probably 2 or 3 years. But what was funny was when we took the motor to Wendell bored it, balanced the rotating assembly, put the pistons on the rods and all that, and you know, and I handed him $600-700, you know, like it wasn't nothing. And then that was when my dad was like, well, where'd you get all that money from? And then of course, you know, I didn't think to make something up. I just said, hey, I've been saving my lunch money and taking bologna sandwiches instead. And so instead of getting $5 a day for lunch in high school at 13, 14 years old, I started getting $3 after that. So right over here, we'll take a quick trip. I know some people was talking about the old red barn we had. We'll take us a quick trip right over here and see what we got back here. I know you guys will appreciate this. That would be the first late model. First true late model I consider myself ever having. That's a 06 GRT. We ran it for about 2 years and then took it to Skip Arc. Skip Arc cut the front end off of it, updated the front end, and I believe he updated the rear end too. I'm not 100% sure. I think he done that in what, 2014, I think?
Yeah.
So we got that updated in 2014. A lot of people was asked to buy this car, and this car will stay right where it's at. There's too much sentimental value right here. That's I got my first win in that car, first track championship, all that good stuff. So that car will never go nowhere. It's just I'm glad that I got a spot where I can put it and kind of save it. All right, here you can see all the plows and stuff that my granddaddy had just stored up on the barn here. That was, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the old corn crib, but it's just got a bunch of junk in it. It's really falling in. It's really falling in, but ever since I can remember, it's always just been a stored pile of junk. Looks like an old fire hose back there, maybe a set of headers hanging up. But yeah, then the barn here. Gotta worry about no shoulders. But this is where, growing up, there was all kinds of stuff in here that my dad and my uncles kept as far as racing parts. You know, right now it's just kind of stuff that I've had laying around that's boxed up, and between me and Brandon and all the junk we got, you can see that it's falling in. That's a All this was rough cut lumber. None of this was store-bought lumber. Not sure where Granddaddy and them got it, but old sewing machine over there. That box right there, that wooden box, it did have all kinds of factory front end parts like Camaros and Chevelles that had been cut up for race cars, but somewhere down the line all that stuff went missing. I'm not sure where it went to or anything, but you can see the attic up top is kind of, if I can get the camera to point up there, it's kind of fell in. There used to be kind of like a pulley system right there that you could lift heavier stuff up to the attic. But this was the section here where all the old motor parts, there's old ring gear to something, no telling what it's to. Harmonic balancer. Old toolbox. That used to be where they kept all their tires during the winter. I can see an old McCreary EC3 McCreary laying right there right now. I don't know, that way tires and fuel are right now, that thing might be worth some money now. Got some old asphalt tires right there that we use to just kind of push stuff around, and when we don't want to use the high dollar tires. Some old tractor weights. Yeah. I'm going to go up these stairs, but I'm going to look under every one of them before I go. I don't know if y'all know me or not, but I don't like snakes, so they're little. These things used to be, they've always been a little sketchy. As you can see, there's all kinds of stuff up here. Bunch of old motor parts. That looks like a Saginaw right there. There used to be a Muncie up here, but of course it's gone now too, so not sure where all that went to. There looks like some factory A-arms. A lot of history up here, a lot of stuff that you know, you don't see every day now. There's old factory water pump. So, there used to be a, like the old wedge nose Camaros. It used to be over there in the corner over there, but I don't know if it's over there or not. And I'll tell you right now, I don't trust them rafters to hold up my 220 pounds, so I'm not going over and checking. This was my granddaddy's toy right here. He thoroughly enjoyed this thing. I'm gonna walk over here, show it to you over here. How many of you know what that is? Or can guess? Looks like somebody's been, either my dad or my uncle one's been down here doing a little cleaning up. My uncle actually bought this from my granddaddy right before he passed away, so I think he's been trying to work on it and everything. Biggest thing none of us know how to do is keep that right there sharp. Granddaddy could do it, but we never took any time to pay attention to what he was doing or nothing. And honestly, it always drove me crazy because he'd always be down here hollering for me to come help him work on it. But I mean, it was a sight to see this thing run. He always had, let's see if I can get over there to the throttle. That's what always blew my mind, was the way that stuff was all set up. Look right here. Can't remember what kind of frame that is, but it's just an old frame. And I want to say that's maybe it's a 283. Not 100% sure. I think that was a 283. Sitting right there, hooked up to the transmission, down to the drive shaft, which turned all the belts over there. Make sure there ain't no snakes around here. We did kill a snake yesterday, so we are another water moccasin.
Same thing.
A copperhead and a water moccasin is not the same thing.
Diana said it was.
A cotton mouth and a water moccasin is the same thing. Copperhead is a different
What's a
snake.
cottonmouth?
That's a water moccasin.
Yeah, they said it was a cottonmouth.
Y'all help her.
I don't know about snakes.
Anyways, there's the throttle. I want to say that was the that was what put it in drive. And you'd be standing here and that big old blade be throwing sawdust all over you. All that stuff. I can't really. Oh! That hurt. I think this is what you pulled whenever you. Well, looks like the roof done fell enough to where you can't move it, but that's what you pulled as you brought the log this way to where you was getting ready to make a cut for it. Oh. That was his race car. Granddaddy always liked messing with this. So.
This is going to wrap it up for part 2 here of Trip Down Memory Lane. I want to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to be on the lookout for part 3. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button, ring the bell for the notifications, and you'll be notified when the next video comes out. We're going to try to get them all 3 out this week if everything goes well. And like I said, thanks for watching, guys.